Yo, what's going on, guys? Jacob B here with another political video, and today I'm doing my Senate predictions. So as you see, we'll start with the safe stuff, but not up for re-election are 35 Democrats and 30 Republicans. So therefore, the Democrats have the advantage this election. But the thing is, there's some safe GOP seats. First of all, Arkansas, the Democrats don't even have a candidate. Now, there is an independent who is a socialist candidate, but he's not gaining any traction. Louisiana, the Democrats failed to get a good candidate. Same with Oklahoma. They couldn't get the former governor that they had, or the guy who ran for governor and came within 10 points. They couldn't field a good candidate, so therefore they lost, or they're going to lose. Wyoming, the Democrats' only chance in Wyoming is, or was if they got that former governor to run, but, the former governor of Wyoming chose not to run, so therefore it's safe GOP. And the Republicans also got a former congresswoman to take that seat. Idaho, well, the Democrats did get Paulette Jordan, who ran for governor last time. She still lost by about 18 points. Although she is the strongest candidate for the Democrats out of those 5 states. States I'd also consider safe, I guess, Nebraska, South Dakota, and Tennessee. Again, those are same situation. Democrats could not get an incredible candidate, except perhaps South Dakota. They did get a former state representative, but they needed to land the guy who ran for governor and only lost by 3 points, or they could have landed the son of the former Senator Tim Johnson. He might have had half a chance. But other than that, they failed to land a credible candidate. So with that, West Virginia is also safe. The Democrats did get Ojeda, who ran a somewhat successful race for Congress last time. But the president's approval rating in that state's over 60%. Republican incumbent, and Ojeda still lost by 15 points, and it's one of those. And closed a lot of gap, but he won't do enough to win the state. Now let's go to safe Dem. Oregon, Republicans failed to land Newt Bueller. That was because House Energy Ranking Member Greg Walden chose to retire. He's in Congressman, obviously. And Newt Bueller decided to take that seat. So he's probably going to be the congressman for Oregon, too. Massachusetts, that one's interesting. Not that a Republican's going to win, but you have Joe Kennedy, who's obviously in the Kennedy bloodline, in Congress right now. He's challenging Democratic Senator Ed Markey. So it'd be interesting to see who wins that primary. Polls are really close. Rhode Island, no Republican candidate that is credible. They got the people to say, hey, I'll run, and paid the filing fee, but not unopposed, but semi-unopposed, I guess. New Jersey, Cory Booker's popular and charismatic, and GOP could not land a good candidate. Delaware, same thing. It's Joe Biden's old seat also, so right now the base is for Illinois. The GOP there did get a former sheriff from Lake County, Illinois, but I don't think he'll make a dent in Senator Durbin. So 41 Democrats and 39 Republicans is the baseline. So if one party sweeps everything, the Democrats have a chance at supermajority, the Republicans don't. They'd have to pick up one of these seats. Most likely I'd see them picking up would probably be Oregon, but they're not going to win Oregon. Now let's do likely. I see New Mexico is likely Dem. Minnesota is likely Dem. Oh, that one's a little more interesting. And New Hampshire and Virginia. New Hampshire, it's a really close swing state. It's going to be within 3 to 4 points in the presidential race. But the thing is that the that the incumbent Democrat there is polling plus 19, and the Republicans cannot land Kelly Ayotte, who is a former senator herself. They cannot land her to run. In Virginia, the Republicans had a former congressman, Scott Taylor, but he decided instead of taking a long shot at the Virginia Senate seat, that he would run for his former congressional seat against the Democrat who beat him in 2018. And I think he's going to end up winning that seat, so, probably the right decision for him and the party as a whole. New Mexico, I wasn't sure whether to call it safe or likely. The Democrat that's going to be running there is the Assistant Speaker of the House, number 4 Democrat in the entire country. He's plus 20 on Gavin Clarkson. But the only reason that I called it likely and not safe is the fact that New Mexico has voted Republican in the past 20 years. It elected a Republican governor 2014, voted for George Bush in 2004, so it's not completely unprecedented. In Minnesota, it's been trending to the right recently, although it hasn't voted Republican for president since 72. Trump got within a point and a half, and he's going to come close again. I'm not sure if he'll win it or not. It's going to be a really close swing state. But yeah, that's what I see as likely Dem. Now, likely Republican. See Mississippi, Alabama, Senate Majority Leader McConnell's seat. I see that likely Republican in Texas, and I guess Alaska's actually safe. I always forget about that one, but so now with the safe and likely seats, it's 45 Democrats, 44 Republicans. Supermajority has been eliminated. So unless a filibuster is abolished, no big legislation is going to be passed, or other than tax law. But no Green New Deal, Medicare for all. And I guess I also got to put Lindsey Graham as likely. But the thing with him is some polls have him up by 17, and then other polls have him up by 5. So it's like, I don't know what to go with. The average is around 10, so that's why I'm calling it likely. So yeah, 45-45. Lean blue. It's going to be Colorado. Although you do have an incumbent Republican senator there, it's not. The incumbency advantage is not very big. He's not that popular. And the challenger is the former governor of Colorado, Deep Throat Hickenlooper. And I call him Deep Throat because that's a movie that he took his mother to see. And yeah, I just don't see Cory Gardner pulling it out against Hickenlooper, but because it will be a somewhat close presidential state, it's going to be within the margin of lean Democrat. And I don't really see anything else as lean Democrat. I do see a few states as lean Republican. Montana, they did get the former governor, or technically the current governor of Montana, to run. That's interesting, but there's one poll that has Senator Daines up by 9, the other poll that has it tied. I think because the president who's popular there is on the ballot, that they'll just vote Republican down ballot. And yeah, they know Steve Daines. They also know Steve Bullock, but I think they'll take the senator that they know, who's with the president of the same party that's going to win that state. So yeah, Kansas, it's an interesting one because you have a congressman, Roger Marshall, he's running. He's tied with Chris Kobach, who's the former Secretary of State. Kansas would usually be safe Republican, but they're more moderate Republican, so that could be an issue. And yeah, the Democrat there is a former Republican state senator who flipped because Republicans got too far to the right in the legislature. So yeah, that's going to be a tough one. Because if Chris Kobach gets the nomination That's going to be a very tight seat. I think Kobach might win by the skin of his teeth, but you better hope it's Roger Marshall if you're a Republican. And the other two are both in Georgia. The Democrats will win Georgia in the future, there's no doubt. But this year I don't think they will. And interestingly, in the special election, it's a jungle primary, and you have Congressman Doug Collins running, who's really popular with the Republican base, and newly appointed Senator Kelly Loeffler, who got jammed up in insider trading, not arrested, but, kind of a scandal. Those are two big name brands that are going to attract a lot of votes in the jungle primary. The Democrats have a former pastor, that's popular. They've the son of Senator Lieberman. Both of those are getting significant endorsements from different Senate Democrats. So they may split the vote enough, and the Republicans may win the raw vote to a point where, the top two are those two Republicans, and that's how. So the GOP is going to end up winning that. Then go tilt Democratic. I think Arizona and Maine are tilt Democratic right now. Michigan too. Arizona, they have a really good candidate. Freaking Democrats. They have Mark Kelly. He's a former astronaut. He's raising money out of his ass. $15 million in the third quarter of last year. He's raising $15 million a quarter. He'll have over $100 million for a Senate campaign in Arizona. It's like, the only way you would need that much money is in California, or perhaps in Texas, but yeah, there's way too much money on his side. The GOP is going to have some dark money come in, but I don't think the dark money is going to be enough. So yeah, I just think the Democrats going to win here. And plus he's leading by a couple points in the polls. Nothing significant though, all within margin of error. Iowa's tilt Republican. They have a really popular senator who's good with Trump. They got a decent candidate, Teresa Greenfield, but she doesn't quite have the stuff to run. Plus it's also going to be a competitive primary, so it may split the Democratic Party. So yeah, that's why the Democrats are going to have a tough time beating Joni Ernst in Iowa. But it is a swing state, it's always close, so that's why it's tilt. And I'm going to call North Carolina tilt. Oh, that's way too close to call. Most recent poll, Senator Tillis, the Republican, is up by 2 points, but, things have been fluctuating. It seems though Tillis has been getting a little better with his people, so, yeah, President Trump will probably win the state. It's a bit of a reach for Democrats. It may turn blue in the future, but I'm not sure. So, yeah. And do I think Trump's going to win re-election? It's a toss-up, but I would lean towards it. He's handling coronavirus pretty well, so even if the GOP does lose one of the seats that I've highlighted, they still have Senate majority. So, yeah. Comment your predictions in the comments below and see how we differ. I'm out. Peace. God damn it.